So let's just turn to Britain. Just like the rest of Europe, it's faced with an unenviable choice of guns or butter. The choice is of guns. And not only have you seen the overseas aid budget sacrificed on the altar of guns, and Annalisa Dobb resigns. I mean, given already that budget in large measure was going to pay for asylum seekers, what sort of a minister was she anyway? But basically her budget has been taken away. It all goes on guns, and inevitably, given what they're pledging in terms of GDP, more must go. Exactly what, I don't know, but it will be from the welfare budget. So that means the NHS, that means PIP in terms of disabled people. And I would guess myself, speaking as an old age pensioner, it also means perhaps breaking the link between pensions and inflation, pensions and the average wage. Whatever, something more must be sacrificed. And I don't think we should allow the social imperialists, John McDonnell, the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign, Alliance for Workers' Liberty, anti-capitalist resistance, to get away with the pretense that this is nothing to do with their campaigning to back plucky little Ukraine against the Russian monster. They've prepared the ideological ground for this just as much as the Daily Mail, the Telegraph, the Sun, and all the rest of it. So I'm sure they will object when we have welfare cuts, but the reality is that they ought to take responsibility for it. And just to illustrate, which was, I mean, I don't know how accurate this figure is. I haven't looked it up in terms of source, but just to give you an idea of how things stand at the present, we're told, and it's no doubt correct, that if you take Europe together and you compare it with the United States, Europe taken as a whole has given more military aid in terms of euros, dollars, pounds, depending on how you count it, than the United States. But here's a figure that if we look at what EU powers have given, in terms of where it's sourced, it's only 22% from Europe. That gives you an idea of the relative strengths of the European arms industry compared with the US arms industry. My guess is, I haven't gone and looked at the figures, but my guess is an awful lot of that will be accounted for by American planes, specifically F-16s. They're not the most expensive, but they will be pretty expensive bits of kit. Either way, I've already said that Macron wants to build up the European arms industry. Of course, Starmer wants to build up the British arms industry, but you get an idea of what we're really talking about. It's really US. It's the US that's been benefiting from this Ukraine war, including when it comes to European supplies. Because if we're talking about F-16s, for example, for every hour that they're in the air over Ukraine, they have to have 15 hours of maintenance on the ground to keep them, combat ready, to get them back in the air. And that means a constant supply of not only US munitions and missiles, but spare parts. That needs to be understood.